Hi, my name is Kimberly Lopez. I'm in Chat 168, and this is the Temperament Assignment. So, the table of contents, we're going to start off with number one, going over temperament. What does temperament mean? The different types of temperament there is, with a few explanations. Second, we're going to be going over the goodness of fit. What does goodness of fit mean? Some examples and going more in depth. Number three, questions and scenarios of what type of temperament can be considered in these type of scenarios. Number four, additional resources connecting back to the temperaments for parents have more information, get a better understanding. And five is resources that I used for this presentation. So let's get started. So introducing temperament. Temperament is a type of stable characteristics of children who have certain patterns that shape a child's behavior that develops personality. So children are born with unique temperaments and they have different characteristics and ways of responding to the environment and expressing themselves within certain situations with different persistence through the childhood that they have had and also various situations and the process of the reactions that they do. So I decided to put Chess and Thomas theories, and they believed in their research that there was 9 temperaments, and these 9 temperaments are 1, level of physical activity, 2, responses to new situations with this withdrawal and approach, 3, adaptability to change, 4, sensitivity to either sounds, light, and touch, 5, attention span, 6, persistence in tasks, 7, general mood, 8, intensity of their reaction to a situation, 9, regularity and predictability of sleeping and eating behaviors. This was in the class lecture. I just wanted to put it on here because I'm going to be going over the 3 general and most important temperaments that are used. Starting off with number 1, flexible/easy. So this is an easy child who sometimes needs attention and has a regular feeding and sleeping environment and routine. They adapt to new situations quickly. They're general cheerful. As you can see in the little girl, she's really happy and cheerful in the picture. And they have a regular rhythm, which gives them positive moods, quick to adapt, low intensity, low sensitivity. They sometimes need attention, even if they're fine. It's good to check in here and there. And by regular rhythm, going back is by having a good sleep time, bedtime. They go to sleep every day at the same time. They eat every day at the same time. They have this schedule kind of formulated already throughout the day. Second of all, fearful/slow to warm up temperament. This is a child who's cautious and slow to warm to new situations. As we see in the picture, there's this child with their caregiver, and the child is kind of cautious of what's happening, what's the situation. I don't know if I want to go over there. I kind of want to just stay here with you, so I'll stay here with you. And the caregiver is just giving that support and love and patience. And so with these children, they actually are closer to their caregivers because they feel more comfortable and less afraid. They need extra time to warm up. By that, it's like if the child doesn't want to go play with other children but wants to go to the sandbox where all the other children are playing, the caregiver needs to kind of help them slowly, step by step, make the child go to that sandbox and start playing with the other children. So it takes time. They can also withdraw from the situation. They probably don't want to go to the sandbox anymore, so they decide to go back with the caregiver and rather stay with the caregiver. Sometimes they have attachment so strong that if the caregiver isn't there, they'll probably cry because they're really sad. They'll feel afraid of being alone. And so they just have to be very cautious and heartwarming. Lastly, feisty/difficult. These children are spirited, fun, but need to be actively managed. These children tend to be a handful, but they are also very fun to work with because they challenge a caregiver. They're very active, they are intense, they get distracted easily sometimes. They're sensitive, so they could be sensitive to sound, and then they start putting their hands on their ear and they start yelling, yeah, 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 because they're getting irritated, right? They have irregular schedules, so maybe they don't sleep every day on the same time. They probably don't eat during the same time, or sometimes the schedules are just very all mixed up. That it makes them moody, makes them start a tantrum sometimes. If the mom out of the study needs to go to the store, but the child is playing and doesn't want to go to the store, then the child will start a tantrum, start crying, rolling on the floor, saying, I don't want to go to the store, I don't want to go to the store. So these children are pretty much so introducing goodness of fit. It's the capability between one's temper and the circumstances of their environment. It refers to the match between a child's temperament and the environmental demands the child must cope with. Adapt to the child to being successful. So here in this picture over here, we see that the child is with their caregiver. The caregiver is giving that support, that comfortability, that sense of we're here at the park. Maybe you want to go play with other kids. And the child is slowly getting there. Maybe the parent shouldn't push the child as much, but slowly make them want to go. Compared to this picture over here, the parent brings the child to the park. This child already loves going to the park, knows how to make friends, decides to grab a little girl. Hey, come, let's play over here. And they start having a great time. So the first parent's concern example would be Kaya's 4 years old. When Kaya arrives to preschool, they enter the classroom quickly and without any protest. Kaya says goodbye to their parents and immediately goes into the quiet area of the classroom. Kaya will pick up a picture book and start reading it themselves. Kaya will look up from the book regularly and see what the other kids are doing, but doesn't leave the quiet area. When asked by the teachers to join snack time or circle time, Kaya will follow directions without any significant delays. Kaya does not talk much during school and rarely engages with other kids during free play. When on the outside playground, Kaya will choose to sit in the sandbox and play with sand on their own. So this parent concern number 1 continue. The temperament traits being displayed is easy, flexible. Kaya is a good child that listens and adapts to easily to new tasks if needed. When the teacher asks to join circle time or snack time, Kaya followed directions. She is an independent, knows where things are, and knows what he or she likes. For example, Kaya already knew that quiet area was in the corner and likes to read. Kaya is quiet, doesn't talk as much, and shy to go up to other children during free play. Kaya tends to stay in his or her personal bubble and not interact with others, demonstrating an average, easy, flexible temperament because Kaya is quick in knowing what he or she enjoys, won't make a fuss, but rather listen to the teacher and follow directions. And also, Kaya doesn't need to be with the caregiver during playtime, but still can't approach children on his or her own. That's why it's an average of easy, flexible temperament. The parents and the staff can help Kaya by introducing children, by walking Kaya or bringing a child to Kaya to play and interact with, easing Kaya to be social because it will be beneficial for Kaya, getting someone introduced slowly because then Kaya will make a friend and then that will make her or he more comfortable and start playing more with and other children, but also not forcing Kaya either. And acknowledging that Kaya is a good child by letting the child know. For example, telling them good job or giving a sort of prize or gift. Well done, have this puppy sticker. That will help Kaya acknowledge that Kaya is a good child and will keep it up, but just needs that work of getting to be more social and more interactive with other children. The second parent's concern is Stella is a 2-year-old girl. She is very clingy to her parents when they drop her off, and the only way the parents can transition Stella to preschool without her getting very upset is by helping her find her favorite teacher, Sammy. And then she says bye. When Sammy is not at preschool, Stella will cry and stay to herself for the whole day. When Sammy's at school, Stella is able to get engaged in activities as long as Sammy stays close to her. Stella seems to enjoy some activities at preschool like art, building with blocks / Legos, and reading books. In fact, she can do these activities for up to 20 minutes without transitioning to other activities. However, she has a hard time. She refuses to join with circle time unless she can be right next to Sammy. When Stella has Sammy around, she can engage with peers effectively, and she shares toys / materials easily. Stella does like playing ball or games with other kids outdoors a lot, but only when Sammy's outdoors with them. As we can see in the picture, Stella's sad and she's about to cry. So in the parent concern number 2, the temperamental trait being displayed is slow to warm, fearful. Stella's afraid to leave her parents' side, is very attached to Sammy, the caregiver / the teacher, can't do anything without Sammy. If Sammy isn't there, Stella cries and can't really do anything without her. Sammy impacts Stella to be interactive with other children and do school activities. So Sammy is that emotional support for Stella. So demonstrating high, slow to warm, fearful temperament because Stella's very close to the caregiver, Sammy, and withdraws from everything if Sammy isn't there. Some strategies to help Stella are to make an action plan to face your fears, facing the fears making them less threatening the next time they deal with the situation. Sammy not there, right? Being mindful of that. Practice deep breathing. Everything will be okay. So if Sammy's not there, Stella can start breathing and say to herself that everything's going to be okay, that Sammy's going to come in tomorrow, or start adapting to maybe finding a close friend that will help Stella get out of that comfort zone and being afraid. So if Stella finds a friend who she can talk to, she can always be with that friend, and maybe that friend can introduce her to more friends. So then Stella will have more friends, she'll enjoy being at school, and won't really think about Sammy anymore in the way of Sammy always has to be there because she's so attached to her. But now having a social connection with other students. And parents can start with social situations that involves just 1 or 2 other children and build up to interactions with a larger group of children over time. Practice show and tell or class presentations with your child at home. So the child can have a little show and tell at home with their parents, and maybe the parents bring two other children, like their cousins, and so Stella can start practicing getting out of that comfort zone and not being afraid anymore and growing that confidence. And at school, the caregivers know what Stella enjoys as activities. So Stella enjoys art, building blocks slash Legos, and reading. So if the caregivers put other children who enjoy those too with Stella, they can be friends and be social. So the caregivers put Stella and this other girl who also likes to build blocks. Maybe the two girls can start creating a big block castle, and that will help Stella feel more comfortable and safe. The third concern would be Max is a 5-year-old boy. Max acts very excited and happy when he arrives at preschool. Max has no problem transitioning between different activities inside and outside of classroom. However, Max has a very hard sharing toys and materials. If he's playing with Play-Doh and another kid sits next to him and starts using the same Play-Doh tools and material he is using, Max will yell loudly and tell the child to leave him alone. When Max's parents arrive at pickup time, Max will throw a tantrum, throw Bonnie on the floor, cry and scream, "I don't want to go home." Sometimes his parents bribe him with treats to get him to transition with them easier. Max loves outdoors time and especially playing on the slide and swings. However, he does not like waiting for his turn and gets frustrated easily. In the past, Max has pushed kids off the slide to get one quicker or yelled hurtful words to kids when he wants to get on the swing. On this third parent concern, the temperament trait being displayed is difficult, feisty. Max is excited and happy to go to preschool and enjoys it. Max doesn't like to share with other children, yells and tells children to leave him alone. When it's time to go home, Max throws a tantrum by going on the floor, crying and screaming that he doesn't want to go home. Doesn't know how to be patient, doesn't like to wait his turn on the slider swings, and Max can't get aggressive by being harmful to other children physically and verbally to do what he wants, pushes kids off slides to get on it quicker. The school can help by managing the behavior of child through talking it out, giving an activity the child enjoys, showing them the differences of being calm and aggressive, providing examples, doing a record system to show the improvement in understanding. And parents can help Max put it into words. So listen and respond. Create clear ground rules and stick to them. So take a break from the situation because parents and the child or the caregiver can't get aggressive at the same time. That will just lead to a whole explosion. Find a way to have a safer, get the anger out. For example, punch a pillow or yell at a pillow. Make sure kids get enough sleep can affect the child. So this child is not sleeping, that can irritate them and make them very moody, and help them label emotions better. Make sure that the child knows what it means to be mean in a sense of wanting to take turns should be important. Therefore, sharing is caring, right? And this will demonstrate a high, difficult, and feisty temperament. Additional resources. So child's temperament, how we start to become ourselves, is a great tech talk. And this tech talk is effective. It's a video that is accurate and easy to understand. It gives information to target, in this case, parents' audiences. It has very brief descriptions of what child temperament is and how it develops over time, how a child's temperament can pull from the environment certain qualities that often serve to the traits and inspires them to become more extreme, and the role of a parent when they have these 3 different types of temperament children. And there's the resource and there's the link. It's very informative, easy to understand, and truly recommend. And it's provided free to be more helpful. And the second resource is an article slash website that includes a little short video. It's from Norma's Kids Health, and it's called the Temperament. So the Norma's Kids Health is a great site that focuses on advising children's health, behaviors, and growth from before birth through teenage years. It has an article on taming tempers, which means for temperaments. It has an English and Spanish version to read for those bilingual parents. And the article explains the parents' roles and giving tips to managing those behaviors and providing examples for better understanding of their children's type of temperament and how to have a better understanding of that and how to handle it. And some tips. Here's the resources and the link. Lastly, the resources I used was the lecture video, Temperament, the Part 4 one. And then I also used the textbook of Social Development 3rd edition. And then I used the YouTube from the supplemental videos of Flexible Fear and Feisting. And I also used the other supplemental video from the lecture of Navigating Through Your Child's Temperament. All these resources were used for this presentation, and thank you so much.